Good morning and welcome to another session brought to you by Catch. I'm actually at a fairly local venue to me. This is Plantation Fisheries in Clevedon. Now, despite the fact it's local, only about 50 minutes from my house, I've never actually been here before. I don't know anything about it. My first sight of it was actually yesterday morning. I got here and it was hammering down and supposed to do all day. So I went home and I've come back again today. The weather is absolutely glorious. It's been a beautiful sunrise. The sun is high in the sky already. The wildlife's already very awake and active on the lake. Yet to see any carp, but I have chosen a swim and I'm hopeful for the next day or so we'll get our hands on a few carp. Looking at the weather now, you think spring is in full swing, but that isn't the case. Jumping in the van this morning at about 5:30 this morning, it was still frosty on the windscreen. So that shows just how cold we're still getting the nights. Ridiculous, towards the end of April, we're still getting frosts. And today, the temperature's only meant to go up to about 11, 12 degrees. As sunny as it is, it's still pretty cold in that wind that keeps on going through the swim, but I'm still hopeful. I've got some mixers with me in case they start to come up on the top. I'm gonna ping a few out and see if I can get them going around. But if not, I'm just gonna keep on sticking to minimal bait, casting to showing fish or using the baiting spoon, which is exactly what I've done so far. So when I first got here this morning, I put a few handfuls of pellet in a few different spots in the margin. And by the time I got back from the van from my second trip, because I have to bring so much kit, being camera kit and everything, there was already bubbling going on in the left-hand margin. So I was adamant that was gonna go off within a minute. So I had a bite cam set up and everything, and it didn't. The bubbling slowly stopped. So that didn't go off. Right-hand rod I've just been casting to showing fish. Recast probably 20 minutes ago to one that actually jumped out twice, which is the first proper show. And the left one, or the middle one, sorry, which is the third rod. Now this is a 2-rod venue, but talking to the owner, he said if it's quiet, it's one of those venues where use your common sense. If there's space for it, you can use a 3rd rod. If it's starting to get busy, I'd have to bring one in. So I have now put a 3rd one out on the island, which was a spot he recommended to me. It's a nice hard spot just off the island. There is a very small island in the middle of this lake, which kind of separates me from the one other angler that's on the lake at the moment. Neither of us have had anything yet, but I am very hopeful. Hopefully with this sun coming out, it gets the fish moving about, and hopefully spring actually starts to kick into gear soon, because I'm getting a bit fed up with all these cold nights, and I'm sure all of you are too. So that's my plan of attack so far, just keeping the bait minimal, moving it around to where I'm seeing fish, and if they start to get up in the layers, I'm going to try and get them on the surface as well. But as you know, this series is brought to you by Catch, so big thank you to them. Now if you've heard of Catch before, then this is probably going to be quite repetitive, so do skip on. Probably put a little timestamp below where we get back to the actual session if you know exactly what I'm about to talk about with the Catch app. But if you're new to it and you want to know how to get involved with booking a venue or booking a swim through the app, this is exactly how you do it. First of all, grab your phone and download the Catch app, whether that be on Android or iPhone. It's available on both. Once you've downloaded it, it makes a lot of sense to make your own account. So I've got my own account saved on here, and then you can save things like your favorites. As you can see, Shearwater's sitting there pretty, because that's a local one to me, nice and easy for me to get down there regularly. But also it means that I can now find other venues. So today I'm in the Clevedon area, so if I type that in, Clevedon UK, I can skip when I want it to be and how many tickets, and it'll show me a list of venues that are in this area, slowly getting further away. So as you can see, the top one is Plantation Lakes. Funny that, considering I'm here. Open it up. I could then add this venue to my favorites, so that it'd be on my home screen, but also it shows me all the information about it. So if I think, do I actually fancy this place? Gives you an overview. So as you see, it's in the countryside of Kingston Seymour, North Somerset. The complex offers a choice of 3 lakes to choose from for both the coarse angler and the specimen carp angler. These geese have been mental this morning. How I haven't been wiped out yet, I do not know. I'm on the specimen lake, but you've also got 2 others here. You've got Jubilee Lake and Horseshoe, I believe the other one. So you've got Jubilee and Plantation's main. I don't know where I got Horseshoe from, probably because of the shape of it. So the one just to me, my left, which is over these trees, is Jubilee Lake. As you can see from the shape, that's why I thought it's Horseshoe. Bit more of a match style venue, I suppose. You've got roach and rudd and bream and things in there. And then the one that's to my right is the one you walk past from the car park, where the toilet block is as well. That is the main lake, so it's a bit more of an all-round one. There's carp in there as well, but you've got roach, rudd, bream, and tench and things. 2.5 acres, a couple of islands, and it's quite busy today actually, and I keep on seeing them catch, so it seems like that's quite a heavily stocked venue. If you're just coming for a few bites, that's the one you maybe want to go on. But that's not to say this is not going to be a runs water. It should be, because this is only an acre in size, and talking to the owner this morning, there's probably anything between the region of 70 to 90 fish in here, and a good average size of doubles up to 20s, mid-20s and upper 20s. So if I get a bite, it should be nice fish, and there's plenty in here for me to catch. And consider it's only an acre in size, I've only seen 1 fish show so far this morning, so that shows just how cold it is, and the fish still probably aren't properly moving around. So I think I will have my work cut out with me a little bit, but I will do my best. So say that's the lake I wanted to book onto. click on that and it will give you more information about the place. And of course, sitting there in the bottom right of the screen at all times is the book ticket. So go on there, I'll select an arrival date. So say I want to arrive tomorrow, which is the 26th of April, and leave on Friday, the 28th. Those are my dates. I can check availability or continue. I'm just going to hit continue for now. As you can see, there's availability clearly because it's gone straight through. If there wasn't, it'll probably tell me, but you can also check availability. If it's looking like it's quite busy and you want to choose another day to go, you can do so. And this is where you go through to actually pay for it. So you've got full price, number of rods, 2, my name, my address, and then you start putting in all your details to how you book into it. So it's exactly the same as if you were booking, it's exactly the same as if you were booking, say, a cinema ticket or maybe a place, a restaurant that has an online booking system. There's nothing different. So rather than having to get up and go to your local tackle shop, or maybe you have to get cash out and pay on the bank, you can do it all from the comfort of your sofa, watching Netflix one evening when you decide to go fishing the next day or next week. So it's as easy as that. And that brings us up to speed with where I am right now, booked on, fishing the specimen lake. All we need now is for some of them carp to show up. I think you can probably just about see the rings. It's coming into the evening now and the lake seems to finally be waking up. I've tried all sorts today. I've tried in the margins, I've tried up against the island, I've tried free line and dog biscuits, I've tried adjustable zigs, just trying to find the fish in any water column. The closest I came was free lining with the mixer. Unfortunately pulled out of its mouth. It came up and took it, and because it's the first chance of a fish all day, I was a little bit quick in striking and it whipped it straight back out of his mouth. So that was gutting. But as I said, the lake seems to finally be waking up. I've had fish rolling on the island relentlessly the last half an hour. Few fish have rolled in the far margin, and again to my left. I've been baiting up a few spots today where I haven't been fishing, one of which is the tree line to the left, which is where I tried hooking one on the surface earlier. It's beyond this tree, it's the next one. So one's going to be going under there, one's going to be going over there in the far margin, which I'm probably going to set up a washing line tactic, and one back on the island. I had to bring the island one back in earlier because someone else rocked up, so I brought that one in. As I was saying about the whole 3-rod thing, if someone else turns up, bring it in just to be sort of courteous for everyone else. But I've now got the lake completely to myself. The one other person that was here all day has now gone. There's no one booked on tomorrow, so it looks like I've got the lake to myself now for the next 24 hours or so. So there's no excuses for me not to catch. I'm feeling confident though. The bait has been going in all day in spots. There's a fish just under the surface looking at me right now. But I know I'm not going to be able to catch them because they've been absolute arseholes all afternoon, not going to lie. But I'm feeling very, very confident. So yeah, rigs are redone. Time to get them out, settle down and have a steak. Oh, that's going to be bliss. There we go. I'd love to say what a lovely wake-up call, but nothing happened throughout the night other than getting wiped out by geese. Nothing happened all morning, and it's now probably about 3 in the afternoon, so I can't lie, it's been a bit of a grueler. But this one finally slipped up. I've been going up and down the banks looking for fish. Whittled down a little waft, it's really slow sinking. There's a few really close to the edge where I've actually got a zig, but nothing doing on that one. I just dropped this on his nose, saw the bait disappear, thought, has he taken it? Saw the line twitch ever so slightly, pulled the rod up, and he was in. There's actually a few more still milling around in the margin, so I'm going to try again on the free line tactic. Oh, but this is a blank saver. Not just on this session, but lately I've had a bit of trouble. I think the cold nights but warmer days, it's just thrown a lot of fisheries out of whack. That's my excuse anyway. But very welcome. Oh, finally. Weight's off my shoulders. Let's get him back and hopefully get a few more. Makes me happy. Washing line rig worked. Finally, a result from the washing line rig. This got taken out several times by geese in the night. In fact, one of them actually completely cut the line. Bit of a pain, so I redone it first thing this morning. It hasn't gone off all day. I kept on checking on the margin, bubbling away like mad. I just thought there must be something wrong with the rig. And the joys of using a washing line rig is I don't have to recast anything. I just went round, hand lined in my rig, and sure enough, there was some debris all over it. So fish must have been feeding, masked the hook, and it was just covered up. So fresh rig out, dropped it with the spoon, and actually spooked the fish when I dropped it with the spoon. As discreet as that is, they were just feeding so heavily there that it didn't seem to matter. I got back to swim, set the bobbin, and I'd say 10 minutes later, just took the drone up, and the bobbin just hit the deck. Exactly the sort of bite you expect from a washing line setup, and this is the result. I think I've actually been a little bit hard done by on the size of fish, because I've seen plenty of bigger ones rolling, but this one is immaculate in condition. Pop him down because I want to keep him that way. And the rod is actually already straight back out because it's still bubbling over there, still feeding. So I wouldn't be surprised if that one goes again. I just spin it around. It's a nicely proportioned fish. I think he's been feeding quite heavily. He's quite a square belly. Probably about the same sort of size as the first fish. And there's the other side. So immaculate condition all over. Very welcome after a very slow start. Well, slow first 24 hours. Finally caught a couple today. The conditions have been a lot better. So I'm not surprised today's switched on a bit. Few hours left of my session and then I'm going to head on. I think 36 hours is long enough. Happy days. It's getting back. Well, with that fish slipped back, I think I'm going to end on a high. I could probably push it another hour or so, but I might as well end after the success of 2 fish in fairly quick succession. And I'm really happy that I've caught them in 2 completely different ways. One of which was being as quiet as possible with the little 6-foot snide and dropping a bait on a fish's nose that I'd seen. They've been really, really finicky on the top, and that was pretty much the only way I think I could have got one off the top, was just by sticking one on their nose, letting it float down in front of them, or flutter down in front of them, and it just took it. It couldn't resist because there was a bit of food in front of it. It wanted to see what it was, and I hooked that one. And then the washing line rig, again, I'm really happy that one's gone off because it takes a lot of effort setting it up, and it's quite fiddly, making sure it's all set. I've been wiped out by geese multiple times by it. For that to go off was really, really satisfying as well. So 2 fish, they may not have been monsters, but 2 very hard-earned and enjoyable fish to catch. So I hope you've liked this video, a little insight into Plantation's fisheries here in Clevedon. If you do like the look of it, then go onto the Catch app and book yourself on here, or maybe one of the other lakes if you prefer the look of the more match-style ones. The one that's right next to me, which is the main lake, I think it's called, has had quite a conveyor belt of anglers on over the last couple of days, and all of them just been constantly catching. So that place clearly is rammed full of fish. If that's what you're after, just a bend in the rod, a few bites, and there's still fish up to, I think, over 20 pounds, talking to the owner. So there's still the chance of a bigger one, but not so much as if you're fishing on this one, he says, after catching 2 doubles. But I know there's bigger ones in. I've seen them rolling, I've seen them showing. So I think I'll definitely have to come back. So I've seen some photos of what's in here, some lovely carp, and it is a very intimate little venue. You can book it out solo, so you can have the whole lake to yourself if you like, or a couple of mates, nice social swim. The swim I'm in sort of dominates most of the lake, so it's probably a very good social swim. or alternatively just do a day ticket or your own session, whatever. So very nice venue, very welcoming owner. So if you haven't been here before, do take a look at it and maybe check it out and come down and catch some of these fish for yourself. Now this camera, although being quite small, is getting rather heavy holding it out like this. So before my arm goes completely dead, I'll tell you one more time, just subscribe to us if you haven't done so already and hit the bell icon so you don't miss any future upload, and also follow us on all the different social media platforms coming up on the bottom of your screen right now. Cheers for watching, and I'll see you again soon. Now I've got the horrible job of sticking all of that on a barrow. I actually did this in 2 trips on the way. Will I manage it in 1? Unlikely. Ugh.